Hey everybody, how's it hanging here? Uh, it's been a while since I made a video on my channel. I've been doing a lot of stuff, man. I've been really busy. Uh, so I just wanted to give you guys a shout out and maybe talk about some things that are going on in the news. It's kind of my opinion of it. You know, just different stuff like that, man. Um, so yeah, I saw the the Trump and the Biden debate last night. Uh, I felt like Trump handled himself pretty good last time. He was kind of talking over the moderator. You know, that was the only thing that like got on my nerves. And that dick face Chris Wallace, man. But anyway, yeah. So the debate was good. He made a lot of good points. Two that I can remember. One was that really people need to pay attention to. One was Joe Biden's getting on the about the minimum wage should be raised. Now, as a person of learning like myself, which I have thoroughly researched this, and sometimes raising the minimum wage at a time when after this coronavirus and things like that, and even if the economy's kind of struggling, once you raise the minimum wage, it costs money to employ people, first off, and then you're raising the minimum wage. That's kind of creating another obstacle, another cost, and then you got this crappy Obamacare, which now all the other employers have to offer, which was before when the Obama administration came around. A lot of employers, you had jobs, but you had mostly part-time jobs, and the reason was because of that crappy Obamacare. And I'm going to get into Obamacare in just 1 second. So yeah, so pretty much, you know, you raise your you just automatically just raise that minimum wage. There's no incentives as an incentive, or you're creating more costs. And then the Democrats, they always have these like regulations that they want to throw at these businesses, which creates more obstacles for job growth, basically. So why, in heaven's name, do you want to create more obstacles for jobs? That doesn't make it makes absolutely no sense. Why put it Why not put businesses in a position to create jobs, like not tax the hell out of them, not create more regulations, not say, hey, everybody all across the board. Now, Trump didn't say that he wasn't for a higher minimum wage. What he was saying was that, every like state is different. Some states are doing better than the others, and raising a minimum wage in a state where it's like the small businesses are really struggling, that's going to be hard. So being realistic too, that was a good point that Trump made. Of course, another one was about the Obamacare. Biden got on him about passing that. Uh, I think Trump got a little frustrated with that, and but he did have plans together, and I think he did try to really work with the Congress in getting it passed. They had different plans. I remember in the beginning that they were trying to do that. But once people started to see this, like how it unfolds, of course, they had the pre-existing conditions thing or whatever. They talked about that, about people, uh, and having challenges with their insurance. So there was a lot of lies about Obamacare. I remember Obama said that, hey, you won't lose your coverage. Well, I had a family member that lost their coverage, and they had to get something like more expensive. So how does it benefiting anybody? And I think don't quote me on this, but I think that there's like less people applying for the insurance. Gee, I wonder why. Because it's not really that affordable. And when you have, uh, insurance like that, and there's no competition. It's again, like I said, it's just like going to the DMV. You're going to get treated any kind of way, and you're probably not going to get the best service. Which what we're kind of seeing now. I mean, shoot, now it's like expensive as hell. It used to be cheaper. I remember when I started a job, it was like cheaper. It was like $80. Of course, over time, premiums shoot up, but they shoot through the roof. So, and I don't think the average American like really could afford it. People that like worked and stuff. So that there was the insurance thing. You know, and the other thing is that I don't know if I didn't really why I was kind of in and out, back and forth, doing some stuff. It was like really busy, but the other thing that like really struck me as odd is talking about the immigration. Well, Biden gets on Trump about cages, and you see all in the news, all these kids are in cages, da da da, and there's, well, I guess there are five, whatever number of kids that are separated from their parents and they can't find their parents. Well, that can happen in like any situation because, you know, how did the situation start? The parents sent them over here, right? I mean, so it's not really the state's, the country's responsibility to find. They should find them. I believe the kids should find their parents. I get that, but let's look at the problem started with the kids bringing over their kids, and they're just like, you don't know where the parents are. So, I mean, think about how much money, like when somebody is caught illegally, how much money it takes to ship them back and to go through this whole process, and, the whole court process, all that is money. All that is money that can be used for America, money that can be used to help the citizens here. I'm not saying don't help immigrants. I'm not saying that, but they should go through the right process, man. They should go through the right channels in order to be an American citizen. And we're not saying like, hey, let's not have any immigrant. We're not saying that. So that's another like fake thing. And then he got on Biden about. He said, I like what he said. He was like, you know, he was like, who built those cages? And that was, of course, Joe tried to skirt around that. That on Hunter Biden's laptop. That's really funny, in a sense, because it's like, everybody's talking about how bad Trump is, but nobody's talking about how bad like the Democrats are. Like, of course Trump is not an angel, but like, Rudy Giuliani's getting ready to take a criminal case against Biden here, and he's got all kinds of shit on his, on his laptop. They say it's like child porn. We don't know really what's on the laptop, but if Rudy Giuliani says he's seen it and says he's gonna press charge, there's probably something on there worth, looking into. I mean, Rudy Giuliani was the one that like took down the mob. He basically kind of really turned around New York. Uh, so basically, yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that, and about thinking about there's so many benefits there to vote that way. Like Biden, he really he started on the whole race thing. All I had was like race thing. What's he's gonna do for Obama? Doom and gloom. Which on Trump's side, it was more kind of like hey, what we're gonna do. Of course, he got on to him about the virus. Oh, there's so many people died. The other thing about the virus is that a lot of times when I watch like CNN or something, and they'll always be like, the number of cases is going up, but what about the number of deaths? Have the number of deaths going up? Uh, it's horrible. If somebody has a family member, maybe an older family member, or somebody that's like has autoimmune or whatever, and they catch it. That's horrible. But I don't think it's you got a lot of people that it's a 98 whatever chance, and people are recovering from it. Trump got it. He recovered. There's been several people that have like recovered from it. So, that's the thing. So can they really like is this really, is it going down? Like, like what's the deal? You always talk about cases, so that's like a political thing. It always makes it look much worse when there's so many cases out there. So that's the thing. And then the whole thing is Trump lied to the country about the virus and how much worse it was. Well, you know everybody's saying that. I'll give you that, but everybody's saying that. But nobody got on Nancy Pelosi about what she did. Was having that parade or whatever. There were a lot of people that said that they didn't think that it was that safe. And he admitted that he told him that because there was no you already saw people like panicking going to the grocery store. So can you imagine the immense panic and what people would do, if they heard, hey, that this was like really, I think the information. I don't know. I don't know. Right at that time when they heard about it, the information. I can't really speak on that. If they said go out and wear a mask. It said it's like the flu. Um, but there's not really much. There's not really much you can do of the virus because number one, there's no vaccine. Number two, the only thing you can do is like have the quarantining or sitting in your house all the time. But my question is how long are we going to do that for? And like what Trump was saying is, we also have a country. We it's just not going to work naturally. I mean, you can't have everybody sit in their house like forever, and while the country just goes to shit. I mean, that's basically what Biden wants. So yeah, so uh and recently I saw Trump as far as like like helping out with African Americans, and doing his amazing social justice reform, which Biden had the 1994 crime bill, which put more black people in jail, and then Kamala, like I mean, Kamala did the same thing. I mean, she was part of that whole process, so it blows my mind that people just totally ignore that and just go for like what's popular. The other thing that I want to talk about is what I was highly. I mean, I've always looked up. Okay, so Puff Daddy. Let's get on Puff Daddy, man, because I'm gonna get on his butt too. Puff Daddy. I can understand the frustration. They were interviewing him. I think like that Charlemagne the God guy was like interviewing him, and he was like, there's gonna be a race war, which has some facts to it. He's not talking about anybody. He wasn't promoting it, and then he said, "Well, if they keep doing this to us, we're gonna have to do something." I'm just paraphrasing that. Basically saying that he was basically. I think he basically was trying to promote a race war. Somebody in a high position. Now, can you imagine if like Trump said that shit or I know that that sometimes like white supremacists say that stuff, but Buff Day has a lot of influence over other people too, So I always looked up to him. I always thought if he ever like ran for president, I probably would maybe try to vote for him. I'd throw that conservative Democrat thing out the window, but I would see what he would go for, But after he made that statement, it kind of made me look at him a little bit different. But I guess if that happens, if there's like fighting, you want to fight back, and that's a natural thing. But it's just right now the race relation in this country is like I mean it's so polarized, so. It's a touchy subject for a lot of people, but I don't think that you should like promote I mean, and then he wants his own party, which is fine. I mean, he has the American right to do that, but yeah, but anyway, also too, I've been following that guy Tim Anderson, and just to kind of talk about what some of the things like the Democrats do that are like kind of like overstepping their power, the kind of like, maybe like liberal privilege that, Donald Trump Jr. talks about. Well, this is kind of old news, but down here in Portsmouth, there's that monument. I guess it's on like High Street or whatever. So there were some people that were going to protest there, and the Senator Lucas was out there, so they wanted to deface the monument. Okay, it's their right to how they feel about the monument. It could be offensive, like you're driving past, and you see like Confederate. If you're a black person, I get that, But the point that I had that was horrible was Senator Lucas was like, "Yeah, go ahead. It's okay to deface the monument, Go ahead and do it." And so they had a body camera, and they saw how the whole incident transpired. And so so they go up there, they start spray painting it, and of course somebody pulled something down, and she had already left, and the thing got pulled down right on top of somebody, caused them brain damage. Because in my mind, like common sense, whenever you tell people to do stuff like that, they're going to go to the next level. You just know it. Not when you say deface something, somebody in their mind is going to be like, "All right, we're going to take it to like the next level," So it's definitely safety was an issue. So so that there were definitely like some. So of course she like turns around. She gets all these pastors when they want to charge her with a felony. I don't know if they charge her yet or not. But she gets all the pastors together, and it's woe is me. They're attacking me, and then some of the other council members left, because it's systematic racism and all this stuff. And I just think that's just kind of bullshit. I mean, when it becomes a time, I understand the protesting part. I get that, But if it's the law, you go through the proper channels. There were some people there that they said, like, hey, they sent the letter there or whatever. But, the police are telling you not to do this, and they go ahead and they do it. And, they kind of like, it's kind of going above the law, and what the weirdest thing was the lady that was there, Chief Green in Portsmouth, they like suspended her. And so people have been like rallying for her, and this was the lady that was trying to explain the whole thing and why she shouldn't do it, And Portsmouth to me has always been kind of a jacked up city if you drive around there. I mean, they have some really good services there, but I feel like there could be more could be done with that city, more could be done with the development of that city, as far as like getting people to come there, I always felt like the city council was kind of like garbage. So pretty much like yeah. So she's going on a rant. This other lady, she's going on a rant how she feels it was bad. But if somebody, there's reasons for things. I mean, this was at a time before when we saw a lot of destruction in several of the cities, and when you're given a pass for a person to do that, complete lawlessness. It doesn't matter what you feel like a statue represents, what it was still like government property. I'm not saying I don't agree with the statue, but if people are telling you, "Hey, don't do it," and then people take like they try to. I mean, I've seen videos of people like grabbing a rope and they're pulling it down. It could like land on top of somebody. And I've seen one where they took a statue and they flipped it over. I mean, it's just common sense. And so this other lady lady named Stephanie Morales. She wants to take. I guess she's taking the case or whatever, and she has ties to like Puff Daddy and the Black Party and stuff like that, and she's all for like defunding the police, that kind of thing. So if that's kind of what that party's going for, I don't feel like that is about I think about the numbers came out. I think it's about like 50% of African Americans, still want the police. They still want policing in their neighborhoods. So I feel like it's not really looking at, the needs. Is not like really listening to the African American community. I think we need law and order. I don't think we need, I think we need. We don't. I understand their reason for wanting to defund the reasons for wanting to defund the police, but I don't think defunding the police is an answer. And it's kind of hard to understand because there's so many different ways in which they describe how they want to defund the police. So I'm totally not for that. So just know that there are corruption on both sides. I'm starting to see that more. I think there's some kind of like privilege, and then I can't remember. It was somebody in like the city government, and they were kind of like, they had a sticker that was like expired, and of course they stopped them. But this was like 8 months, and of course they're going to look into his stuff after they're fighting against the city council. Do I think there was something funny going on? Yeah, but still at the same time, if you wouldn't have had your sticker, lapse, then you would have had a problem. And I think that guy, I think he was going for something. He bought like a bunch of properties, and he said he had a business. And he said he was doing it for the community. I don't know. He may have been, but the houses that he bought, I mean, it was like a couple of houses. They weren't like nice house. I mean, I guess they were like they were like fixer uppers. I know the government there. City government there does a lot with like housing and like fixing it up, So that's always been kind of like whenever the government kind of like intervenes with that, it's like, well, somebody had their hand in the cookie jar there. So yeah. Definitely people in Portsmouth, they need law and order. They need they don't need people getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody wants to express. Now the only thing that I don't know about the NAACP members, I know that a lot of them, I guess they had got caught, with something or got some charges or whatever, or they were looking to prosecute them or whatever with something, that they were allegedly did something, they allegedly did something, and hopefully that was okay. Because what I didn't quite understand was, did they help organize that? I don't know. So I don't want to speak on something that I don't know, but I just hope that that we have some law and order going on, and we have the proper right law and order. We don't want cops to do things to people that's not right. In the sense of George Floyd and the other young lady that got shot, Breonna Taylor. We don't want that stuff, man. But at the same time, it's got to be like on both sides. So yeah, that's the thing, man. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's as far as like, and I hope Chief Green gets justice too, because all she was doing was trying to do her job. I mean, you may not agree with it, but that's what the law was. And there was a reason for it, and we saw what happened. I mean, it's horrible. Somebody getting brain damage. So yeah, yeah, but they're I still don't understand the connection there. But I do know that the thing about the Senator Lucas, and hopefully things are done maybe a little bit differently, next time. But yeah, that city, man, it needs a different leadership there. They have, yeah, again, like I said, they have really good services there, but I mean, it's like, you know, I don't know, man. The city, there could be a lot done, with the city. Um, like every other city has like a city center, there. I don't think Portsmouth has like a city center. You know, remember when Obama, that was his focus when he wanted to create jobs. He created a city center in every uh, like kind of like area. They don't have like a city center. They don't have like a, not that I know of. I might be wrong. I could be wrong, but they don't really have one. So yeah, so just pay attention. The election's coming up. If you want total like chaos, you see what it's like right now with all these different groups. If you want total chaos, vote for Joe Biden. I mean, it's still going to be a lot of resistance if Trump gets elected, but um, I don't think. I think once it'll pass, but hopefully the people will work with them. I know some people such as like Ice Cube. I know he was trying to work with them and work with both parties, to try to solve some things. And I kind of like, but they really did him wrong on CNN, man. They only focused on him meeting with Trump, and of course, if you want to get things done, meeting with Trump, that's like the worst thing. Like going to the president, who the president is, that's like the worst thing in the world to do. I mean, like Steve Harvey tried to do it, Ice Cube tried to do it. So I think what they're afraid of, if Trump actually does something, then they have to admit, like, oh, okay, well, Trump, he's not that bad. He's actually trying to do something other than Joe Biden. I don't think Joe Biden's really trying to do. And for all of you who are mad at Trump, supposedly he's racist, supposedly he's this, supposedly he's that. Have you seen like some things that Joe Biden has said? I mean, I've said this before in my other videos, and are you a hypocrite if you like support him too? I mean, because you didn't vote for Trump because supposedly he was racist, but now you're going to vote for Biden. Which where is the like I don't get that. I don't get that logic whatsoever. So yeah. So thanks a lot for tuning in, and I will see you later.